Hi, good evening. We have started with the recording. It's 11:53 p.m., 9th of February 2017. And as all of you are aware, we keep trying to build something new for our online community. And I just randomly dropped a message on Facebook, and Rachna and Richa has responded. This came from an inspiration. I was having my regular conflicts, and I was talking with my sister here, and she was talking about some things in her life that needs to be arranged. And through the method of self-inquiry, through the using the principles of love yoga that all of you have noticed um, in our YouTube channel, um, I tried to help her, understand it. And suddenly I realized that yes, it is. This work is very, very powerful and very, very deep. All this sounds simple, and it is simple, yet it goes very, very powerfully like a quantum bomb, clearing the patterns of past lives, future lives, and more. Rachana, we will have to mute you because there's static on the line. So I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Static
That's
on the
okay.
line. Or what you can do is you can, if you have good typing speed, I think you have. So I'll be responding over voice, and you can send me messages by chat box. Okay?
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah. So we'll go with Rachna later on. So let's go with Richa first. Richa, can you please unmute yourself? I think we'll have to. We don't see a mic option there for you, Richa. I'm going to dismiss you here from the event and try logging in back, okay? So Rachna, you can start right away. You just send one thing in your life that you would like to work on, some pattern, something that you really, really want to work on, and we'll try to help you. I'll be talking at the same time, channeling this wisdom or power or love, whatever we can say, and we'll try to find the answers together. And of course, it isn't suggesting you as well. I will be learning as well. Hmm. Finding my soulmate. Why do you think you're not able to find your soulmate? What do you think that blocks you? Old patterns hurting someone. Can you please clarify on that? Old patterns hurting someone. Looks like the text to voice model may not work that wonderfully. Anyways, let's try to see. Okay. Old patterns. I guess I in my past lives hurt some souls. Okay. Hmm. In relationships. So you mean that's why you keep attracting hurting relationships to yourself. That's what you mean by that? That's how I feel. Okay. So even if you say, let's assume that you actually hurted other souls, but what you need to do in this moment of now, this is the moment of power, right? So what you can do in this moment of now to change those patterns of wanting or deserving to be hurted because maybe you hurted others in past lives. What you can do in the moment of now that you can start changing those patterns. The Hermetic philosophy goes, As above, so below, as within, so without. So if you keep attracting hurting relationships because you think that you had done something in a past life about hurting others, so in order to change that pattern, go to the very core of it, the first thing, understanding the principle of as within, so without, as above, so below, is to stop hurting yourself on all levels. Forgive myself and love for who I am today. Absolutely, Rachna. You have to forgive yourself and to develop love for yourself. Yeah, absolutely. In this moment of now, what you can do to change those patterns is to first of all observe where and how you're hurting to yourself, and then go with appreciating and loving yourself more and more. And for your assignment, for the next 7 days, totally stop self criticism. Totally stop means totally stop. The ego mind might come up and say, "Oh, I need to criticize you. Let me criticize you here so that you become a bit better." It's like that story, I think, in the stories in the, what you call it, Snow White, where this evil-looking woman comes up and, feeds the apple, the caramel-based apple and say, "Let me feed you this. So I will love you more." So in the same manner, the ego comes up very smartly to us and says, "Let me feed you with criticism. It looks good on the outside, and it will help you to beautify, and it will nurture you so that you will grow." And you eat it. And what happens? The Snow White goes to sleep. And what happens? She keeps sleeping. Maybe in that story, the Prince Charming came all the way trying to find her, but in the real-time story, it won't happen because you are sleeping, my dear. Okay? So, not using criticism, self-criticism, as a defense to, or as an excuse to hurt yourself. This is the first point that we need to work on. Okay? And whatever I am suggesting here, it doesn't mean that I have mastered that. It simply means that these are the divine teachings that I've worked on a bit, still working on, and will definitely work for you if you're willing to cooperate on that. Okay, Rachna? Thank you. She says makes so much sense. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry, Rachna. We have to break your session here only. Okay? So I hope that gives you some insight and some helpful tips on that. And it definitely gives tips to me as well. Even I kind of, think about, hey, what about a soulmate? And then I divert myself with work. Okay, yes, Richa, can you please unmute yourself? Because this program is going to go up for YouTube audience, and I think in this way it's better for people to understand, to receive. Hi, Richa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear
Hi,
you.
thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much for the session.
Okay, so where you would like to work on? Which area?
Uh, I heard bits and pieces of what Rachna was saying,
Hmm.
and I think it goes the same for everyone. I mean, you have to forgive yourself, accept yourself, love yourself.
Absolutely.
Because my network was not working, so I switched to another network, so I didn't hear the complete thing, but
Yeah,
I heard bits and pieces.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense to all of us. This idea, it came as I was trying to talk with my sister, and I was unconsciously and a bit consciously applying the principles of the love yoga and
Okay.
hermetic teachings, and I realized, wow, this is powerful work. People need to know about it. And so we just came in here, and you both said it's very interesting that you both have the names starting from R, Richa and Rachna, and
Okay.
it sounds very similar as well. Okay.
Okay. And for me, I think these patterns go way back, to the inner child healing. So that's how it's going to work.
Mhm.
I think it's for everyone again because, these things start at a very tender age.
Mhm. Mhm.
Self-criticism, acceptance,
Absolutely.
loving one's own self.
Absolutely. That's
So,
how
I
we're
mean, once you heal your inner child, yes.
I was talking with my sister today that, for parents, if not the two out of the couple, but at least one, especially the mother, has to have an inner child which is very, very healed. It's only that kind of parent that can actually precipitate or groom a personality which has a very healed inner child and is a very mature adult, so to speak. Most of us, we are chronologically, we have crossed a number of years on this planet, but from the inside, we are still little children, somewhere, living in fear, somewhere trying to figure out the world, how it is. We look adult, we do adult things, but
Yes,
um,
it's right.
yeah, that's very scary. So I was saying to my sister that, at least one, at least the mother, because mother plays more important role, I believe. This is just my personal
Hmm.
perspective that, so at least a
Oh
mother
my
has
God, you're
to,
scaring us. You're
at
scaring
least,
me.
yes, we have to experience the contrast to appreciate what is, right? So,
Yes.
I said, we need to have at least one person, especially the mother who has the inner child healed so that she could groom, healthy children and they can grow into responsible and powerful adults. And that's what we were talking about. But from a soul perspective, we look like, we attract the parents, whatever, soul lessons we had to learn, we had to learn. But on the personality level, we definitely have to think about so-called quote unquote solutions of the mechanism or mechanistic, or you can say the science of psychology or science of society, maybe if you'd say. Yes, Richa, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I can hear you.
okay, are you all right?
Actually, the AC is on, so I switched
Okay.
off. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and I did my PG in psychology just because, I wanted my children to have a better future.
Wow.
I did that.
Wow.
Yes.
Great. Great, great. So which one pattern that you would like to work on um, today?
Inner child healing,
Inner child healing, okay. So why do you think your inner child is
right?
wounded or needs healing? Why do
I
you
mean,
think like
whatever
that?
you suggest, but
No, it's
yeah.
just up to you. That's how the method goes.
Uh,
So it's a matter of self-inquiry. You keep asking, you keep getting answers. You keep asking, you keep getting answers until we reach to the core of the situation, and
yes,
then suddenly we have this aha moment. So
yes,
that's the way how it's supposed to be.
y-
So why do you think you
yes.
need inner
I
child
feel,
healing, or the inner child is wounded? Why do you think like that?
I think it's badly mutilated. So I think I need a lot of inner child healing. I've been working on it for years,
Mm-hmm.
but still,
Mm.
it remains. It's there.
Yeah, but
Maybe
why?
the imprints are there. I'm not sure. Huh?
Okay, what kind of imprints? Why do you think some imprints are there? Can you please explain us what kind of imprints?
It's because I have a lot of fear inside.
Hmm.
Yes,
Why do you think you have a lot of
it's
fear
fear.
inside?
You are putting me in a corner.
That is what we
Um,
are trying to do. We are going to bring down tremendous light of your consciousness to your own personality, that suddenly, you will really
mm,
ask if it is really there.
I really don't know. I really don't know about myself. Once it comes to healing others, it comes very naturally. But once it comes to your own self, I
Mm,
really don't know why. But yes, I have fears, and they play a very major role in my life.
mm. Fear play a major role in your life, but you don't know why there's fear, right? But you just know that it is there,
Yes,
something like this.
yes.
Mm, fear. How do you define fear?
And uh, fear found me.
Fear found you? Hmm. Sounds
That's
like
right.
love finds you. Sounds like a friend finds you. It seems like you're having a very friendly connection, friendly, healthy relationship with fear. It sounds like that.
It's true.
Hmm.
Well, that's true. Maybe I've, accommodated fear. I've given a room permanent.
Mm.
Yes, you can stay here. It's something like that. You're right there.
Okay, but why?
I have no idea why.
Hmm. It sounds like something
I
within
have no
your
idea.
consciousness for, our subconscious mind is totally unreasonable because of something in the
Right.
past or maybe in the childhood. Um,
Yes.
you you just allowed fear to stay because it felt known and not something else.
Right.
It felt so familiar. It
Right.
felt so much like an old friend that it just was there. I think there was this movie I was
Right.
watching it. It was based on some horror movie, but actually it was not a horror movie. It was about a psychologically ill patient who had the power to control another person's mind. So whenever she would be around someone, a new kid, let's say going for depression or something else in the same hospital, same asylum, this kid would control the mind of the other kid, making the kid believe that they are best friends. And so what happened is they both had photographs and things like these. And then the doctors experimented something totally unusual, totally non-traditional upon this girl who was having psychic powers at the same time psychologically disturbed. So something happened,
Okay.
and this girl vanished, and then they realized that they had done something unusual with the DNA of this girl, that she's totally gone. I mean, she's not dead, but she cannot be seen, so to speak, and she can only actually be seen in darkness or shadow. So this psychologically imbalanced girl, she, created a total massacre. However, she continued her relationship with her friend, whom she had captured the mind of.
Okay.
So this friend continues to grow
Okay.
into a natural, normal, evolving lady. However, she had to end her marriage with 3 kids because of this girl who was never seen, but who was always trying to control this lady, and actually living with her. So this was a very, very scary
Oh,
story, and sounds like the same that you're saying here, because from childhood you're allowing this fear. It feels known. You have no idea why it is there or who it is, but simply because you know
right.
it, you are allowing it. Do you see this?
Right. I see this. I tried regression many times, but I could never regress.
Mm,
It comes to a blank zero.
mm.
So, yeah,
So, what it would take for you to start having a similar healthy relationship with the frequency of love rather than fear? What it would take?
confidence.
Confidence. Okay. Confidence about what?
I know it's an illusion. I know fear doesn't exist. I know, fear is in the mind. There's nothing like fear, but I'm housing it. So I need the confidence to, overcome whatever is happening.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
The universe
My mind knows everything.
the
Yeah.
universe is mind-like in nature. They say if we conquer the mind, we can transform the physical reality, and we can have those tremendous power to shift whatever is physical. Even quantum physics is saying, hey, look at the behavior of the electron. When it is observed, it behaves something like something else. When it is not observed, it behaves like something else. And consciousness, or the observer, is influencing the nature of reality. The double slit experiment, they say. So you say that you need confidence to get over fear. Hmm. And you know that it does not exist. But tell me something, that to fight something, to have confidence or courage to fight something, which is first of all not there, how much power are we giving away to it, which does not exist in the first place? Do you think that we can fight something which does not exist? Do you think?
No, we can only increase its magnitude. If we start fighting it,
Yeah,
it is growing more powerful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we become crazy, we become mad, or in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says we become entrapped in Maya. Maya is an
Yeah, I
illusion.
understand.
Maya is an illusion, but
I
when we try to
understand.
fight with it, and suddenly what happens is we, what you can say, we totally lose our balance. So if you try to fight the fear with confidence or courage or get rid of it, you will never be able to. There are many philosophies working on that. Yes, we need to dissolve fear, we need to let go of fear and things like these. But from the core level, from the level of the source, if you would say, from the level of the light, it does not exist in the first place. It is simply the absence of light. So fear is nothing but the absence of light, absence of love. So when you start inviting love, instead of focusing on, I have to fight fear with confidence, I have to fight fear with courage, or I have to fight fear with regressions, or I have to fight fear with medicines, or books, or workshops, or courses, what will happen is it might seem that it has been born for a while, but it will again come up with a revenge. It will again come up with much more stronger aspect. So the key that we need to work on is, from love yoga point of view, is to focus on love. As Aphrodite says, that whatever you seek in this world, be it psychic powers, be it abundance, be it utter carnal sexual fulfillment, be it utter spiritual awakening or highest level of enlightenment, whatever you like to call it, just meditate on the word love. That is enough, my child. That is what she says. And this is exactly what we are having the session. So thank you so much for asking this in our first episode here, that I need to fight fear, I need to have confidence to fight fear. But if we try to fight with something which does not exist in the first place, we give more power to it. So what we need to focus on is we need to focus on building up love. But here's the funny part. We don't need to build up love as well. We don't need to find love as well. We cannot find love. We cannot teach love. We cannot even understand love. We have been spending so much of time in relationships, be it romantic, intimate, out of the relationship, or whatever we call. They have tried all kinds of relationship, even with an ideal image, or with a book, with an idea, with a dream, with a friend, with any family member, anyone. But they have not been able to reach to understand what is love, because love actually cannot be understood from the mind. It's not the job of the mind to understand love. Love is, just like God is, they say, love is. It's beyond the mind. As they say, it makes you go crazy because somewhere you are trying to get a frequency which is totally beyond you. And at the same time, you're trying to find that frequency in something which cannot reflect that embodiment of love. Of course, great embodiments like, of true masters, of Sadgurus, of holy archangels, or holy deities, or beloved Christ, or beloved Buddha, these very rarity on this planet, they have really been able to embody the frequency of love, and somehow we can get a glimpse of it. But still, they could do only a limited part. They could only reflect 1 or 2 drops out of the ocean that we call love. Love has to be experienced, So moving into this spiral of awakening, that we need to fight fear with confidence or courage, we need to go and understand that it does not exist, and we need to understand that we have to invite love, or add or build up love. And then moving into further spiral, we have to understand that love is. Love cannot be understood, love cannot be found, love cannot be, it can only be known, so to speak. Through centuries, great masters have been calling God is love, or God is light. There was one great master called, Bhagwan Rajneesh. He said, don't call God is love, call love is God, because love is so vast. God has been defined in some manner. Some people have tried to define God in a male form or a female form, or half male, half female form, or whatever, or a stone, or an idol, an image, a symbol. But love is cannot be defined. Love is just the way love is. So instead of trying to build up love, which is of course a part of the personality, I remember a channeling few years back actually. They said, Uh, Let me remember what exactly the words were. I'm not able to remember exactly those points right now. Suddenly, I have this moment of total wipe off from the mind. But where we were saying that love is God, you know. So instead of trying to build love, we have to realize love. And they always say that love is a pure nature. Whenever we go and meditate, we realize that, oh, this is who we are. This is who I am, infinite, powerful, beyond past lives, beyond future lives, beyond my dreams, beyond whatever happened in the past. Right here, right now, I am. That's it. No more story. All the story dropped. I am. That's it. So, Richa, tell me again, how do you think we can be able to invite or realize that we are love or I am love? How do we realize that?
It's already there.
It's already there, right? It's just
Yes.
this. It's like the sun is
To
already
accept
there.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a lot about
Just need to
accepting.
open up and see it's there. It's there everywhere.
It's there everywhere. Absolutely. It's there. It has been there.
Just open your eyes.
It will
Yeah.
be there. And it is there. Absolutely. This love. But we're not going to say that fear-based thinking or fear-based business is not real. I mean, I was again talking with my sister and said, wow. I said to her, wow, fear is such a business. It's like, with all due respect to banking, you know, it has its own interest account, it has its own principal, it has its own fixed deposit, it has its own everything, it has its people trying to work for it, fighting over it, breaking relationships over it, even a parent and children fighting over it, but it does not exist in the first place. So what a master plan to keep us all entrapped, as I say. What a great master plan to keep us entrapped and try to always work around it. So yes, in the journey, yes, I now remember the quote from the angels. They said something like this: in order to realize that there is no path, the humans have to walk through a path. In order to realize that there is no path at all, there was no goal at all, the journey was happiness, the journey was ascension, the journey was enlightenment, the journey was samadhi, what I like to call it. Um, you have to walk a certain way. You have to walk for a certain time, only to realize that it did not exist in the first place. But this is the rule. And they said we cannot help much about it. It is almost like the sun rises from the east, and that's the way it is. At pure form, it is pure energy and nothing. From source perspective, it is nothing but a thought in the mind of God. And we cannot say, hey, it's a thought in the mind of God, so I'm going to go near the sun. Well, you'll get burned off because you're part of that matrix. You can call it fear or maya or illusion, whatever you want to call it. So in order to understand this power of love, which goes beyond electrons, goes beyond the most powerful atomic bombs, the nuclear bombs, or anything else that the scientists would be able to find, at least at this point, we have to know that we are love. We have to know that love is there. And in order to remember that, we have to do some purification work, as they say. It's like we are the diamonds. Paramhamsa Yogananda would often say that we are diamonds, and there are just some dirt, wet dirt, sticky dirt on it. But once you allow this light of wisdom to shine through, like water cleaning the diamond the diamond is not identified with the mud or dirt. The diamond simply is. In the same manner, a whole life, as Richa said, that it's about love. It applies to all of us, and it's about realizing that love is. So, Richa, how do you think we're going to realize that we are love? How do you think that's going to happen? Take your time. Rachna, you may also send your messages here. How do you think we're going to realize that we are love? Or I am love, as they say. Take your time, Richa.
Sorry.
Oh, no, no, no. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel. Because it sounds like, very mental work that we're doing here, but it is more also like a transmission, a laser-focused transmission on a lot of patterns, which has been the roots of many things or many issues in your life. And it is working. It is dissolving. Take your time. Take your time. So we will allow Richa to process for a while. Yes, please carry on with your processing, Richa. No shame, no guilt. Rachna says affirmations. And the faith with us that we are part. Faith with us as the very part of love as a whole. Absolutely. Yes, it's not about believing that we are love. It is about knowing and remembering that I am love. The past happened. The future will happen. This moment of now, I have this great power. So yes, Rachna said affirmations. One of the affirmations, again going back to my sister, is I am love, as Rachna is writing. I said to my sister, it is something like this. I have the power to bring inner peace. I was discussing with her regarding establishing or organizing things in our home, in a space, and I kept asking her, why do you think you need to be organized more? She said, I need to be organized more so that I can have more clarity and more inner peace. So I said, right now, can you organize everything in this home right now? She said, no. And I said, can you actually organize your inner thoughts within you so that you can have peace right now, inner peace? And she said, yes. And I said, do you think you have the power? And suddenly she kept quiet and she said, I do believe I have the power. And that's where I said, this is where the problem is. You believe that you have the power. You do not have to believe that you have a home. You do not have to believe that you have a job, you have a boss. You do not believe that I'm speaking in front of you. I'm just here. In the same manner, when we recognize that I have the power to establish inner peace, I have the power. When you recognize that, you don't believe. So believing is more like a doorway, it's more like a window, it's more like a filter, which still keeps you away from God, all that is love, universal life force, whatever you like to call it. Oh, I believe. But when you know it, you just know it. And how do you know it? You know it by meditation. You know it by going within. So this journey of trying to define love to different relationships, it has to come from the place of going within. As within, so without. As above, so below. Once we are self-fulfilled, we'll find that everything outside is in prosperity and abundance. Once we are self-loving, we will not go into roller coaster rides of emotional up and down, because will be so much filled with love and appreciation. Once we are so much filled with self-acceptance, we will have nothing more to criticize. Everything will start to make sense. And so we have the mental clarity, emotional peace, physical abundance, simply by these three different phrases or words, if you want to call them: self-acceptance, self-love, self-fulfillment. It may sound like philosophy, but try doing it. You'd be amazed. So yes, we make efforts. As I say, we walk the path to realize that there was no path in the first place. So we make efforts to love. But when you really love someone, you don't have to make effort, don't you? It just comes. But when it comes to self-love, Me accepting as the way I am, and we go in front of the mirror and we start checking those dark circles, and we start checking that skin, and we start checking that weight. Oh my God, can I really love this man or a woman who I am? And we try to make efforts with that. Most of us give it up. But when we understand that we don't believe in the power to have inner peace, but we know we have the power of inner peace, that we are the power, in the same manner, we don't have to make efforts. When we try to make efforts again, that makes it like a filter, like a window or like a doorway. So stop making efforts to love yourself. Just love yourself. Let the word effort, that middleman, go away. I love myself because I love myself. There's no other reason. And just like most of us, if we have been tired of trying to find the definition of love in any human embodiment, go within. Have some romance with yourself. And see if you find something or not. Okay? Richa, you can unmute yourself. Are you okay? Can we carry on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. So how, again the question, how do you think we can know that we are love, or I am love?
I think it's there. I know I am love. I just need to open up because, I've loved myself. I have to open. That's it.
Mm-hmm. You have to open, or the personality needs to become aware of it, right? It's like the music was always playing, but we were there absent-mindedly and we could not enjoy the music, something like
Yes.
this.
Actually, love is always there, but the fear is with love only because every individual I think has a fear that if you love someone or something, it will go away.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a restriction, a kind of censor that tells, don't love to that, beyond that limit, because, then the person or the thing you attach to will go away. So it's that fear.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will come up. It is a defense mechanism of the soul, you can say, because as I said before,
Yes.
there was not a single relationship in our lives which can actually define love, regardless of how much we try to find the definition of it, right? Unless we
Right.
are lucky
Right.
enough to have been in the presence of some enlightened beings like Buddha or Christ, who would definitely, be one of the nearest embodiments of love, you can say. I will dare to say that they did not embody it completely. I will dare to say that. But yes, at least for us, they are like the most attuned to the frequency of love. So yes, that's the defense mechanism, and that's the realm of duality, the fear and love, the light and the dark, the Maya.
Right.
In order to
Right.
drop into this Advaita, this, non-dual, you have to go beyond the polarity. And the interesting fact is that in order to go beyond the polarity, we have to go to the polarity. That is the law. We have to go to the
Yes.
polarity. We have to experience pain, sorrow, and suffering to appreciate the joy, happiness, and the nice behavior and the smile of people around us instead of taking them for granted. So it's there. It's the realm of duality. So once we go with that, with awareness, especially non-attachment, you can say, recognizing that they are connections, not attachments. So once we reach there, we recognize that love is love. Whenever I give love, I'm still left with infinity. Whenever I receive love, I'm still left with infinity. Whenever I multiply love, I'm still left with infinity. Whenever I divide love, it is still left with infinity. Whenever I subtract or add anything to love, it is still left, or I am still left with infinity. There is no calculation, there is no mathematics, there is no counting done there. Love is, right? So,
Right.
what is the one step that you will take, Richa, from today in order to remember that you are love?
To remember that I'm loved. Hmm. I think I'll just remember it's there. I don't have to make an effort, you said.
Yes.
So I won't be making that effort. It's there. It's
That's
okay. I know it's there.
okay. And how you will know that it is there?
I can feel that, yes. It's
Yeah,
there.
you can feel it.
It has to be felt. I mean, I don't think there's any other scientific measurement. You just need to feel it and it's there.
Absolutely. Do you feel good in your heart right now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah,
Much
yeah.
better.
That's the flame of love. That's the beginning, you can say, of your connection or strengthening of your connection, you can say. That's love. Great, great step. Thank you. Just being aware, as she said. Thank you so much, Richa. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope everyone, Rachna's and Richa's query and brought some light into um, into your consciousness and respark that. It definitely brought a lot of light unto me, and I'm so grateful to these two souls to have joined up live here. We almost spent off almost half an hour, perhaps more, and being in this awareness. So the first step that we're going to do is remember that I am love. As Rachna also pointed out, that we can use affirmations absolutely. In order to realize that there's no path at all, we have to walk the path, right? So if you feel like doing affirmations or doing meditation, then go ahead if you feel that's your journey. But if you are dropped in the knowingness that, hey, I am love and I have this feeling, it may not feel so enlightening, but it feels good. So you focus on that feeling, that uplifting sensation, and that will guide you. That is enough. That will guide you. The core of Love Yoga sessions, the power of Love Yoga sessions is to help us remember love. That's it. Let's go with one more question or one more thing. Rachna, you can send a write up there. One more pattern that you would like to work on. Abundance, okay. Can you please clarify on that? What exactly? You mean experiencing more abundance? Do you mean that? A few years back, we had an abundance workshop, I think for 12 or 13 days. The material was so vast that you could not actually complete in one lifetime. It was so vast. So of course we're going to touch on these things very superficially and giving the key idea, so to speak. So Rachna says in all areas of life. You have to tell me, be specific, Rachna. Abundance is a realm of duality, you can say. It's a realm of duality if you're talking about abundance, be it time or space or resources. So you have to tell me laser focusedly which one exactly you would like to work on. Is it money? Is it resources? Is it talent? Is it creativity? Is it time? Is it energy? Which exact area of abundance you would like to work on? Money? Okay. Let us see what they have to say about it. Everything in the universe is an expression of love, including money itself, including you. Every single atom in the creation is an expression of love, and that does not debar money. Money, just like other natural forces in the universe, in creation, on this planet Earth, actually, the entire creation is going through some form of currency. Giving and taking is going on constantly. So you can say that's another kind of money. But if you talk about money in the earth plane, The money on the earth plane is neutral and natural. It's an energy of exchange. So the universal law of abundance that says, or the law of karma, if you say, whatever you're experiencing right now is a result of your past in one way or the other, conscious and unconscious. Whatever you will experience in the future would be the result of whatever you are doing now. So in order to experience abundance of money, you have to do some things in the now that will help you to experience abundance of money, basically sowing the seeds. It not only includes donating or tithing or using the money for seed money, so to speak. It also means nurturing yourself so much that you have the power to generate creative life force energy within, so that you remember that this life force energy can be created in the now. In other words, if you're a writer, you, of course, give money, share money, donate money smartly. Mark the word smartly here, because if you're just giving it away carelessly, then so it will happen for you, because you are raising a careless connection with the energy of money. I remember one of my mentors would say, money is like a nagging wife, or money is like a wife. If you keep nagging her, she will keep nagging back at you, perhaps even hitting you back. But if you keep loving her, keep appreciating her, keep praising her beauty, be nice with her, treat her properly, she'll be very, very nice with you. So again, another one of a mentor would say that treat money like a person. How you're treating money. Just take some time. Are you just treating it as a piece of note or piece of paper that is just in your pocket, or are you keeping it with respect? Are you using it properly? Mark that. Okay. So not only about relationship with the money or how you treat money, but it's also about, if you are a writer, you develop so much of creative life force within you that it starts to act as a mechanism to attract money. Let us be more clearer. If you want to have more money, and let's say you are a writer, Rachna has written something. Let me read it. She writes, I agree I've never been in a situation of not having it, but yeah, I agree I have been careless. So yes, it would come and go at its whim if you have been like this, and I'm very much sure you will agree with that because it's exactly how you treated that partner of yours. So let's say you're a writer, you would like to have more money, okay? Rachna agrees with that. So if you are a writer, you want to have more of money. You not only create seeds by donating properly, sharing properly, smartly, investing properly. That is one thing of the karma, realm of duality, making sure of seed and plant and harvest, all of this. You also recognize that your main source of earning is writing. So it is by becoming more creative in writing that you can have that creative life force to create money. Richa is saying, oh my God, I used to hate money. Richa, I think I don't record this one here then. What kind of experience you might be having recently, right? Maybe block or something like that. So, anyways, where we were back. So if you're a writer and you think and you know that this is how you may mostly earn it. So the core of your money-making ability is not singing, is not dancing, is not cooking, is not cutting the hair, is not doing a makeup, is not growing mushrooms, is not having a dairy farm. There are n number of ways to how people can make money. You can cook and you can be a millionaire or more. You can cut hair and you can be a millionaire and more. You can clean houses. You can be a millionaire and more. There's no so-called quote-unquote small work in this entire creation. Coming back here. So when you know that your main source of earning is writing, okay, main source of earning is writing, so you need to understand that your writing equals money. That your writing equals money. I got a message from Rachna. Let me read it. I realized it very recently, so agreed instantly to do translations for children. Wow, Rachna, wow, that's a great sign. So in order to make money as a writer, you understand that the writing thing is money, equivalent to money. It doesn't matter what is going on in the real states. What matters to you as a writer is that how much creative, juicy writing you can serve out to the public. Writers have deep karma involved. Every single word, what they're writing, influences the mind. I think there's one movie, you call it Inception, something like this, of Leonardo, and there was this one very specific dialogue that it says something like this. Virus can take some time to infect, bacteria can take some time to infect, things like this. But there's one thing in the universe that spreads very rapidly, and that is thought. Thought can multiply and infect rapidly and transform, right? So taking a deep breath. So you recognize that writing equals money. So what is the law of karma? It says, what is the law of resonance? Whatever you send out to the universe, it comes back to you, consciously or unconsciously. So in order to make more money, you understand that you need to do more writing. In order to do more of not just writing, but creative writing that gives you money, you need to send out vibrations of inspiration, of creative writing, not only to yourself, but also to others. And how do you do that? You start by giving scholarships to the people who are into creative writing. You start appreciating or talking about their projects. You start by appreciating your own creative writing as well. That is another kind of seeding for yourself, for your personality. So you start by talking about their projects instead of thinking, oh, they will pick up my clients. So, whoever your client is, they will remain with you because they resonate with one energy, and that's it. Some people like to work with Buddha Koinians, some people like to work with Aphrodite, some people like to work with Shiva, and that's all okay. They still don't lose their clientele, so to speak. Right? In the same manner, once you start promoting creative writing, which at the core you recognize it's a kind of investment of your money, that awareness will start budding. You start teaching others as well. You start posting something that is related to writing that will influence others to write. Something like this. And the more you can do it from the place of love, instead of saying, having the writings which are more fear-based, only tragedy-based, only sadness or depression-based, which people like it most of the time, because the ego likes negativity, ego likes to feed on it. It has like its entire banking system, as I say, principal, interest, employees, employers, people fighting over it, and all the drama in the world. The game of exchange and everything. But when you come from that place, you will have more of abundance. By influencing creative writing, the point is, by influencing creative writing in other beings, you are influencing their brain cells, their energies to be more creative as well, especially by writing something that uplifts or encourages the writing community, especially that makes money out of it. By the law of karma, you will be blessed in the same manner. It is going to happen to you back. And I got some messages from Rachna. She says that insecurity has never been there to lose client. Good. But I actually never acknowledged writing as my source of earning. I banked other resources. I know now. Thank you. Yes, Rachna. I think Rachna works for some NGO, doing some wonderful projects for children and more. Um, yes, each one of us, we as a soul, we have one life purpose. We like to do something. Sometimes when parents come to me and say, my child is not studying anything, he just likes to, you know, be creative. And as this parent brings with a lot of, what you can say, criticism for the child, the moment I look into the child, I can see the aura, and it's like so much of fear and shame is put on the poor child. And suddenly the angels are showing, oh, this child is into clay making, clay molding. And I simply ask the child, oh, are you into clay molding? And the child says, oh, I love it. That is exactly the life purpose of the child, right? So I go on to say that, wow, you're not studying, that's good. You don't need to study much. And the parents are shocked because they come to me thinking that oh my God, he would ask something about meditation. So the first thing that I help the child with is in a very non-traditional manner, just my own way. I'm not claiming that whatever we are talking about is having some therapeutic or medical property to it. But yes, definitely some kind of healing benefit comes up on a very deep level. So the moment I help the child to ease off the burden of guilt and being who the child is, it's very interesting to notice that the child improves in academics by and by, and of course continues with the artwork to grow further. So every single soul comes up with a life purpose. So you have to see what is your life purpose. Your life purpose could be writing or teaching or painting or singing or maybe just being at peace, or being of help. Remember, there are two strong differences between being of help and being used. These are two very different things. We light workers tend to take it together and we end up in abusive relationships. People who are too much selfless, they attract selfish people. That is how the law works. So you have to see. So your purpose could be as simple as being at peace. That's it. And no one life purpose is bigger or smaller than the other. It is just the way it is. The source created us in our own way. So Rachna says, see the new equation. She has written a new equation here. She says, love equals writing equals money equals abundance equals peace. Absolutely, Rachna. I hope it gives some insight. And I think, as you said, you don't recognize writing as your main source of earning. Maybe it's both writing and teaching. I don't know which one it is, but you have to see what makes sense for you. Okay? So I hope this gives some idea, everyone, as to abundance of money from the perspective of love yoga. I hope it gives you some perspective, Rachna. Thank you. Thank you. So you have to recognize what is your source of making money. And you go to the source of making money, not the money. Actually, money is just a byproduct. And then you start enhancing that source or tapping into that source. A lot of people in the world are doctors, but not every doctor becomes a millionaire or a billionaire. A lot of people in the world are doing business. A lot of people in the world are doing online, coaching based business. But not everyone is a billionaire or a billionaire. Some are even finding it very hard to come out of debt. Profession can be one, but the results can be different. Why the results are different? Because the person's energy, the person tuning into the profession, that energy is different. So when you recognize the source of your money, how you are generating money, it could be as simple as, let's say you are working For a government, when you recognize that it seems like, oh, there are no future perspective regarding it, I think I need to be a freelancer, what Narmada's talking about. No. Learn to see the core of your work. In whatever government post you are, look to see the core of your work. This is something that only you can do. And do it with love. Do it as an offering to Source, an offering to yourself, and as an expression to love yourself. You'd be surprised how wonderful results it will start to give you. A lot of people I found very closely that they take, in very powerful posts of the government, they took the work as very, very serious, and they even ignored their bodies, their eating, sleeping schedule in the name of work, thinking that if they go out and play, the work will be perished. It was actually they were trying to fill some kind of void within themselves by playing the role of quote unquote workaholic. It reminds me of a joke. Two lizards stuck on the wall on the ceiling and not actually stuck, just sticking naturally and playing and walking. And then one of the lizards says, "Hey, wow, look outside, it's a very fine weather." And he says, "Why not? Let's go out and do some sunbathing. We will go out and play." The other lizard says, "Oh no, I cannot go out." The first one says, "Why not? It's a wonderful weather." The other lizard says, "You know what? If I go out, this ceiling that is there will fall off." This is exactly what happens with most of us regarding work. We take it so seriously, we think if you're not there, that work will not be done. Well, we are just instruments in the hands of Source. If not you, someone else. Simple as that. It's very, very touching to the ego, but that is the core of it. So if you talk about the government jobs and you're not a freelancer, you're not having a business, you can still have abundance, develop the avenues of material abundance in your life. So here, going back to these relatives spoiling their lives, their personal lives, their health, they would end up with so many different fascinating diseases of all kinds, and doctors would give all kinds of diagnosis and prognosis, and they actually died of some cancer, some stroke, or some things like that because of hypertension, too much tension, too much stress. Taking a deep breath. If they would have done this work with the awareness of love, that they are doing this work equals love, equals self-love, equals moderation, they would have been able to enjoy a healthier life in the physical body, which will automatically manifest as more peace in their families, and of course better health, and of course from least to no medical expenses, and of course to a longer life. Do you see how it's so interrelated? Aphrodite. So coming as we reach the end of the call here, almost 1 hour here, the core of love yoga teachings is love. When we start to focus on love, when we start to be and remember this field of love more and more through our lifestyle, through our diet, through our thinking, we automatically align all our chakras, thereby aligning all of our bodies, every single area of our life. I hope this talk helps all of you to receive a transmission understanding. We're going to upload it on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here live, Rachna and Richa. Thank you for co-hosting. And we're going to return soon, sometime. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a blessed good night, good day, wherever you are. The recording ends now. Namaste.
Good
Bye.
night. Thank you.
Bye.